We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Hi, I'm Justine Smith, and I'm here with Beyond the Film Festival and CUTV, and today we are covering the World Film Festival in Montreal, and we have three very lovely guests who will be discussing their film, God Will Provide.
So my name is Pedro Manana, and I'm an actor I'm one of the actors in the short film.
And first assistant director.
Yeah, I'm first assistant director, and I did a lot of stuff.
I am Luis Porto, and I'm the director of God Will Provide.
And I'm Laura Milheiro. I'm the producer of God Will Provide.
Okay, great. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
So, in your own words, can you tell our audience what your film is about?
Yes. Our short is about, the main theme is about abortion, but we make the film about a woman who has to choose between her whole life and education and her sociality, which is the church and the close society of interior of Portugal, and having a baby that she doesn't want to have. So
it's important to say that the film is in 1984, so it's not nowadays.
Yeah, for me it's more about her struggle to choose, and of course the background is the abortion issue, but her struggle to choose is the real drama.
And what in particular inspired you to set the film in 1984?
Okay, the film wasn't think at the first script, right? It wasn't think to be at that date, but afterwards, talking with all the team, we begin to see the particulars, the details. If we put the story in that age. So I will tell you what was happening in Portugal at that time. It was the first law, not the first law, como é que se diz a primeira proposta?
Yeah, it was the first time that a law about abortion was proposed in Parliament.
In the House of Parliament. So, in that time, abortion was illegal, but it became legal in three ways. If the woman
was in danger.
Yeah, if the baby caused any harm to a woman, malformation of the fetus, or if the woman was raped. Yeah. Okay, so that is not all. In 1984, in Portugal, we had this political
view.
Yeah, this political view that we started opening up central healthcare. I'm sorry, my English is not very good.
Oh no, it's great. Don't worry.
Yeah, healthcare. We start to open universities, and we start to develop all these highways to unite the interior of Portugal. Yeah, the countryside to the cities.
That were mainly on the shore.
Coast, yeah, on the coast. So we began the process to make the unite Portugal. 30 years later, that is where we are now. We began to do the same process, but in the other way, backwards. Yeah, we began to close universities and schools. We began to close health centers. We began to pay a lot of tax by driving the highways. Mm-hmm. So I think now the process is it's completely the opposite. We are making the countryside even more isolated, and this short is a lot about isolation, and we are making this process again, and it is to remind the viewers of the film that we were in that time we're making that process, and now we are making the process all the way in reverse.
Actually, I didn't make that connection at all. Thank you for explaining it.
It's a Portuguese thing, maybe, because it's really local.
Because it's a fairly recent thing.
It's since the austerity, I imagine, right?
Yeah. And many people perhaps don't realize that. We realize that things are bad and they're getting worse, but perhaps they don't realize that we are going backwards in time because they have forgotten about the times where when we didn't have health centers in the interior of the country, we didn't have as many universities, we didn't have as many schools, we didn't have as many highways, and perhaps people have forgotten about it a bit, and now we hope that people can realize that we're going backwards, not just moving in a bad way, but really going backwards.
It's like you're regressing, kind of.
Yeah.
And what I was reading online is that in Portugal, abortion itself was only fully legalized in 2007, and you had several referendums in between that failed. But do you think that this is still like a very timely debate in Portugal?
It is. It is funny. After we made the short, abortion come right on the news again.
Okay.
Yeah. Now it's the question is different. Is will the woman have to pay the government or the healthcare to have an abortion?
It was about maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah, 2 months ago. I think abortion is one of those matters we can forget. You know.
Yeah.
It's not like the law is on, everything's alright. No, the law resolves some things. But this short is not about a law. This short is about a woman who is alone and she has to choose to make that decision, you know? And this is nothing about law in there.
And we don't want to make a statement. We don't want to say if it's right or wrong in a short film. We just want to give the woman some voice.
Yeah.
It's if you can have as many choices as you want, if none of them are free of bad consequences, they're not really choices.
And do you think that part of the choice is very heavily kind of centered on religion, but her choice is kind of what you're talking about, rural as well. She lives in this kind of isolated environment. And so part of the struggle is not only the question of an abortion, but it's actually going to an urban environment. She feels very uncomfortable there. Is that part of the question as well?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because there's a lot of in those types of places, there's a lot of gossip, there's a lot of judgment from your neighbors, and so she is stuck between a rock and a hard place because she
doesn't know what to do.
She doesn't know what to do. She can't really choose anything because either choices have terrible consequences for her. And perhaps maybe if you're a Canadian watching the film, you don't realize just how bad the consequences for her are in whatever choice she makes, because she lives alone, and how will she explain pregnancy to her friends in church, but also the churches where everyone kind of congregates, gets together.
That's her social environment.
She doesn't go to bars, she doesn't go to, because there are no bars, there are no, there's nothing like that, so people congregate towards the church, and it's a very tough environment because you have to portray yourself in a certain way, but then everyone has their own lives and everyone has their own problems, but many times they will try to hide it because it's a very judgmental environment.
Of course. Actually, it's interesting because I do think this film would resonate a lot in Quebec specifically because we were a very Catholic colony.
Yes.
And we had similar issues where for a long part of our history, up until like the 70s or 80s, women who had children out of wedlock, they would take away the children and they would usually put the women in mental hospitals.
Really?
It was a big thing. And also there's a lot of culture too where they would judge women who didn't have enough kids. So there's a lot of like Quebec stories and books about this woman only had 3 children, there must be something wrong with her. Because if you're Catholic, right, you have to have as many children as possible.
Yeah, it's not only about Catholics. It's I think every religion can reveal themselves a little bit on this movie.
Oh, 100%. And what I found really interesting too is because it's kind of the subtext of the film, but what you're talking about, if she decides to have the child, she will also be ostracized, right?
Yes,
there was a word I was trying to find.
Yeah,
because we made a process on pre-production. We've made a documentary about it. that we are trying to. We put together a Catholic person,
And a Catholic.
a sociologist, and a woman from the human rights.
Feminist.
Feminist,
Yes.
yeah. And we made a discussion with the abortion on top of the table, you know. So of course we have some extreme answers. That was what we were expecting, because that's why. One of backing to the other question, and I forgot it. That was also why we chose to make the short on this time, because back then John Paul II made this extreme speech about abortion, and the Communist Party was making another extreme speech about abortion. So it was never people on those speeches, you know. There was never a place for the humans. It was not humane.
It wasn't a human question.
Yeah, it wasn't a human question in abortion.
It seems like there are no moderate opinions about the subject, which is strange.
Is it right or wrong?
Yeah,
right?
it's everything is very black and white. For one is black, for the other it's white. But it seems difficult to find someone with a moderate opinion of the matter. I struggled a bit because I was old enough to. They weren't. But I was old enough to vote on the subject when it
was 95, 96?
Well, just the last one, in 2007.
Okay, yeah.
And I really felt like we had to seize the opportunity to liberalize abortion. But I also thought that in Portugal, we didn't have enough education to have that responsibility in our hands.
Yeah.
So I felt a bit divided, because of course I'm pro
abortion.
I'm pro-choice.
Yeah.
I'm pro-choice. I'm not pro-abortion. I'm pro-choice, but at the same time, I felt that I knew a lot of people that weren't ready to have that responsibility in their hands. But I still voted yes, because I thought that no, I'm not going to stand by another 10 years or 15 years until this question.
But for example, now they are saying that abortion is seen as a contraceptive method.
Yeah, for some women,
Yes, and that's on the table again. So you have many things that aren't right.
It will be always a subject that we need to talk about.
It will never be perfect.
And you can't really trust the statistics because you know, because you know that they manipulate the numbers a lot.
Yeah.
For instance, if they want to demonize abortion, they will say, "Oh, our healthcare system is wasting too much money on this. People are using it as a contraceptive." But then you'll have the other side with different statistics, and it's all a
different
bit.
Actually, is on the short film in the first part. The radialist the speech.
No, it's exactly like that.
We made this part on the short when he said the numbers. Yeah, those absolute ridiculous numbers.
But then again, that speech, the radialist speech, he is quoting Bernard Nathanson,
From America,
the so-called king of abortion in the United States, and what he says makes no sense either.
No.
Because what he says that he manipulated the numbers when he was pro-choice and he was for abortion. He manipulated the numbers so that it would strengthen his claim. But then, because he repented and changed his opinion, I think that he manipulated the numbers again, because no one can believe that in the United States there were only 1,000 abortions a year.
No,
it's impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah.
But that's what he said. So when he was on either side of the barricade, he manipulated the numbers. So you can't really
kind of
trust.
the missing link, which I think is even present, where you have this kind of sense of so much judgment, is that if you really want to support her choice to have the baby, then maybe you should not ostracize her for doing that, right? That would be the other side of it. I'm curious, you say this is a film not about law.
Yeah.
Do you still see it as a political film?
Okay, it's all like avalanche, como é que se diz?
Avalanche?
Avalanche?
An avalanche,
An avalanche, okay, it's equal. Because it is about a woman.
Yeah.
A woman who is inserted on a society and religion. That society belongs to a country. the country is ruled by politics, you know. So it is a bit about politics, yeah. But all of these questions that we're now talking about, it was like a process that we made to find the real story. And in this film, all these questions are there, but what you're seeing are the story of that woman, you know. Yeah, what we'll try to do is relate to that woman, be true to her story, and leave the strong opinions of pro and contra choice apart, and be just see
tell
what
the story of that woman, and
see
the fact that you asked that question, to me shows that it's all we still go back to the same question. You can think of it in a political way, you can think of it in a religious way, but the fact of the matter is that one doesn't exist without the other, because if it was just a political choice, the movie wouldn't make sense. If it was just a religious choice, the movie wouldn't make sense. It's all combined, and that's why it's so hard to choose, and I think that we did that. We didn't take sides on the matter. Well, not me in particular. I'm the priest, so I had.
It's a real strong side.
But the film doesn't choose for the audience. It raises the question, and I think that if you look at it closely, you are a bit in her position, because what would you do? I mean, you can think what you would do with your education and with your situation, but with hers, perhaps you wouldn't know what to do either.
Do you think that the fact you kind of leave it open-ended, also with the kind of subject matter, does it make audiences uncomfortable?
If we leave it,
like I mean, you don't. If there's no resolution in a very strict narrative sense, which I think is a good thing. But also the subject, kind of that combination of things. Do you think it makes people uncomfortable to kind of confront, like, something that's not polarized?
I think what makes people uncomfortable is the scene immediately before. No, I don't think that scene make people uncomfortable. I think
because
if you have a radical view on the subject, perhaps you'll be annoyed that the filmmaker didn't resolve the problem,
because it can be resolved.
But you kind of put your perspective in it.
Of course you do, and I think that's what the question is that if I am pro-life, perhaps I would be upset that the movie doesn't clearly state whether it's pro-life or pro-choice.
You wanna hear an interesting thing? We've shown the movie back in Portugal to religious. Actually, the speech of the priest was written by a Catholic. Yeah,
he wanted to be a priest.
Yeah. It was inspired in a real speech by a Portuguese priest, but that wasn't what I was going to tell you. We shown the movie to a Catholic man, a very Catholic man. There is no Catholic or very Catholic now, but he was like.
He's a teacher of moral religion.
He's a teacher, and after he saw the movie, he thought that the movie had a pro-life vision. So that was. I wasn't expecting that, but I can see why he's seen that. But there isn't in a movie like a pro-choice vision as well. We don't take sides, like you said.
Yeah, people see what they want to see, but I think that if you look at it closely, and I felt this a bit with, you saw the film that it was shot, the church scene was shot in a very important sanctuary in Portugal. It's the third most visited sanctuary in Portugal, and it's Nossa Senhora da Lapa. And the priest that, he runs the church. I don't know what how to say that exactly, but he runs the church. He was very helpful. He said, "No, I'll give you everything you need."
They supported us.
He supported us a lot.
Yes.
But then when he saw the movie, he just said he didn't speak a lot about it. He said, "Well, congratulations and thank you very much for taking notice." But he really didn't speak a lot.
That's natural though. Priests are reflective. They've chosen a life where it takes them sometimes years to figure things out. So call him in a few years and he'll probably have something very honest to say. And it will either be that he loved it or not, or something else. I think
he realized that we didn't
sides.
We didn't take sides.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were true. We were true to the Catholic Church vision, and we were true to what happens on the countryside. So I think he was just glad that we did that.
Well, he clearly wasn't upset, right?
No, he wasn't upset.
Yeah.
He wasn't upset, but he also didn't discuss it a lot. But
and the nuns went to see it as well.
Yeah. And the nun that there's a frame with a nun.
Really a nun.
She's a real nun. She was there. They were all very helpful. I think we tread it carefully as well because it's a very sensitive subject, and and everyone was really sensitive about it. But at the end, I think the objective was was achieved.
What I really liked about the film is, Ken, you were talking about the church, but in general, the kind of choice of locations, the art direction is really quite beautiful and evokes very powerfully the kind of story you're trying to tell. Can you explain kind of how you settled on these
that's
locales?
a funny story. Okay, so when I began to work on the script, I draw a house that I would like to be the house of Maria. And I just said to Laura, you need to find me this house. You need to find me this house. But she began an online search in nearby Porto, which is our city. The locations that we could see, we could repérage. I don't know if you have this word here. And then the first city law that we've seen that they were helpful, and they said, "Come here, we are happy to show you the places." Was Sernancelho. That was the first one. So we went there. We loved the place, we loved the people, and we saw this house.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, it's amazing. I saw the drawing and I was like, "It's that house." What, you dreamed about it?
He remembered. We were going to see what were we going to see? In the top
places.
of the we were going to the top of the mountain.
Caminha,
No, the top of the mountain with Claudio, and he remembered. Oh, I have a friend that has a house nearby, and we went there, and it was it.
Yeah. And then the process began to work on that place.
Yes, we have to make a few changes.
Because we didn't have no budget. We had no budget. So to do this reparage, we will spend a lot of money just trying to find those places. And if we went there alone and didn't know anything about the place, if people from there didn't help us, we get lost. Probably will be that right now.
So you guys got just really lucky. It's like you had a vision.
God provided a place. No, actually there were some really strange. I'm not a very religious person, but I have to admit that there were some really strange things going on. Like this, the house that he drew is the house that you see on the movie. It's amazing. And then we actually had to shoot some of the movie twice because we had a problem with the footage. And the first time we shot the church scene, we had lots of people there because the people from City Hall, they helped us a lot, and they called nursing homes, they called schools, and they rounded up a lot of people to be in the church. But then, as you know, filming is very time consuming, and it was really, really, really cold. It was unbelievably
Freezing,
cold.
yeah.
It was freezing inside the church, and
Maybe not
many
like in
of the
Canada.
people that went there, many of the people that went to the church for the filming stood there for 3-4 hours, and it was
More. It was 6 hours.
It was really hard. And so the second time we came to shoot, no one showed up. No one showed up. We did the same connections. We asked for the same people.
They told us that they were coming.
They were coming. They would go, and then come shooting day, no one came. And then we were like, "What are we gonna do? We can't shoot the church because there's no one there." And I remember I turned to one of to the guy that wrote my speech, and I said, well, you know, it would be nice if an excursion of people would come to visit the church, and we would ask. And that's exactly what happened. It was amazing. We didn't know what to do, and after a while, a bus with 30 people came to visit the church, because, as I said, it's a very visited sanctuary. A bus with 30 people came, and they agreed to be in the movie, and it was absolutely amazing. So a lot of strange stuff happened.
The strange thing, in the first impact, I became upset because that made me rethink the whole scene and make another scene, and then the people began to come up and we didn't have anyone. Why there's people sitting right now? And then let's go back. Let's make, and we have like the window of 30 minutes to do the 3 shots. We made it 2, and the third one we put the old staff.
All the staff was
wanted to go.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Are you guys working on any future projects?
Yes.
I know you don't always want to say too much, but
But
anything you can share?
Yeah, actually, Frame, our company back in Portugal, we are very tired. The script writer there didn't came to Portugal because he is reading the script to our next film.
Another short film.
Yeah, for another short film, and he has a family and stuff to do. You know? And Pedro and Beto, they're also not here. We are very close, and we are all of our projects. We are all in it together. So right now we are making or trying to make a TV series.
Oh wow!
Comedy. Quite different, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You should see my character.
It's the opposite.
It's very different. My character is going to hell on this series, so it's no priest.
Doesn't mean the priest can't go to hell either, though. There's we have limited context.
Well,
there.
now that you say it.
And we are working on another short. Of course, we have those ideas to make a feature, but it's not this next year.
Yes, maybe
Well,
in a couple
we're in
of
training.
years.
We're in training. Actually, we're
But
going
you
to.
want to know what the film is about? Maybe it's about Fernando Pessoa. It's
Really?
I
know.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
And maybe you can get independent funding for that.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Even in Canada, we have stuff
Oh, yeah?
about Fernando Pessoa. Yeah.
Oh,
we have.
cool! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I will write it down.
If you go to bookstores in Canada, you'll find, in French bookstores, you'll find a lot of his. In English, not so much, but in France, he's still quite popular. He wrote in French too, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and in English.
I've read some English translations, and
They're not so good, eh?
They are very pretentious, you know.
No, but he wrote in English.
He wrote in
also.
English.
Yeah, okay, but I saw some translations that the guy that translates, he must love Fernando Pessoa and he must understand him deeply, and so I'll give you an example. There's a line that he says, "I'm going on a bus to a street that I can't recall with windows of a color that I can't recall."
Yeah.
And the guy that translated it knows that he's talking about Rua das Janelas Verdes, the Green Windows street, and so he translated it with the green windows, and so that's not what he said. I mean, I'm sure you're a very good expert, and you know that he's talking about the green windows, but that's not what he said. So Maybe in French is better. The translation in French is better.
Yeah, but he actually is only began to write in Portuguese at the age of 23, I think. Yeah, he only wrote in English.
Yeah,
because
he
his
grew
education,
up
in Durban.
and it was somewhere in Africa,
Yeah,
wasn't
Durban.
it?
Yeah.
So that's actually really interesting.
Yeah.
I definitely look forward to that.
Thank you.
And kind of attached to that, how do you actually see the future of filmmaking in Portugal right now?
Whoa.
It's a
We
very
are
big
we are
question.
in such a.
We were talking about it outside.
I am very. I usually I'm not an optimistic person, but I am an optimistic about this because we are in such a deep shit. We are such. Sorry, we are
We are
so
really down.
low.
Yeah.
We can only go up. There is no
Can
more
only
low
get
to-
better.
Yeah, because
Can
it
only
is
get
true.
better.
It can only get better.
And I think that we are starting
To like our own
to
cinema.
grow and to like
Yes.
our own stuff.
People are going to
Um,
Portuguese cinemas.
We are just starting that because I think that in Portugal we have a very big complex of inferiority.
Yes.
Everything that comes from abroad is better than what we do.
Yeah.
And I think that now that is changing just a bit. And so
And we are getting better.
perhaps you can ride
Yeah,
this
but-
wave and improve and make better stuff.
Do you think that's kind of connected to the fact that you're growing more of a mainstream cinema, like a mainstream Portuguese? I mean, I know not all of it is
Yeah.
good, but you had was it last year or the year before, that movie based on that awful television show with the kids in the pool? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I mean,
my God.
I'm not, yeah.
She's informed.
Yeah, I'm very well informed. I'm not saying that that's good, but I find that even in Canada, when you start to have a mainstream,
Yeah.
no matter if it's good or
People
bad,
will want more.
people will start to see it.
Yeah,
yeah,
And then they'll
that's
start to see
amazing.
And you
things
have
they won't normally
to
watch.
have a lot of types of movies. You have to
Yeah.
have comedy and horror movies.
The thing is,
There's space.
I believe that there's space for everyone.
Yeah.
Up until now, the cinema has been run by one person, Paulo
Yes.
Branco, and nowadays we start to see other types of productions. Usually, they are not very good. They don't have a lot of quality or meaning, but I really, as much as it pains me to see to open a magazine and see, oh, we have 3 Portuguese movies and they're all bad. At least something is changing. At least now people start to watch Portuguese stuff. 20 years ago, no one would watch it, whether it
20,
was good
10,
or bad.
5 years ago.
Never.
Well, 10 years ago.
No, but 20 is
Whether
a good
it-
example because that's when they introduced the new legislation in '97.
Oh, yeah.
Whether like we have to increase film
Yeah.
production and we
Yeah.
have to support, we have to create an industry.
Yeah, and nobody saw anything whether it was good or bad.
To have
And
a lot of-
nowadays, at least we are starting to see that people consume what is made in Portugal, even
Yeah.
though
Yes.
the majority
Changing.
of what
It's
is
changing.
made
You have
is
a lot of films that
not very
aren't
good.
seen in Portugal, but are seen around the world.
Yeah,
Pedro
Pedro Costa,
Costa,
yeah,
yes, for example.
yeah, it's a good example.
Yeah.
But
No one
that's
sees his
different.
movies in Portugal,
Yeah, but,
abroad he has a
Yeah,
lot
but that
of.
is very specific type of cinema, and
Yes, but he's not international.
Yeah,
I
it
think
is. It is good. It is-
he
it
has
is good.
a kind of success.
yeah, it is.
What I want to say is that I have a dream that, and I think it's
That's
possible.
Martin Luther
No,
King.
no, no. That sounded funny, but no. But my dream is that you can make good quality things with commercial success. I've been a part of some theater projects that they were good. They were not ready-made and like fast food stuff, and they had commercial success. And that's when I started to think, this is possible. This is possible. In the school that we went to, I went to the theater part. He went to the cinema part. But the school was founded by a Portuguese playwright, Garrett, and he said that first you had to create the habit. So then you create the taste, and then you create the need. and now I think we are in the phase of creating the habit of consuming Portuguese stuff. If more things are consumed, people will start to, I hope that people will start to demand more quality, and then they will that's what they will need. They will need that, and I hope that we can do good quality stuff with commercial success.
Well, what I find interesting is that a lot of Portuguese television, which I found is interesting that you were talking about, that you're trying to create a series, is actually, I think, already on that level. I mean, it's just a matter of it exiting Portugal. Like, I watched Odisseia with him, and it's like a really, I think it would find success internationally if people knew what it was.
Yeah.
Not that it had.
No, it didn't have success in Portugal.
But it was still people talk about it.
Yeah,
And I think it's
Yeah.
the first steps. Nothing that is really new. Most stuff doesn't get accepted right away. But I think we're the first step. This is why I share his optimism. I mean, I know things are really hard, but we're not in this profession to get rich, and
we really want to make films and
it's a love thing.
It's a lot like being a priest, right?
Yeah.
You don't go into it unless you really believe. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
So I have another question that's somewhat related, and this is a question we always ask to any filmmakers or people involved in the industry that we have on our show. What advice would you give to other young people who are interested in making movies?
Don't. No, I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
Don't give up.
No, I'm kidding. Don't.
Because we spoke to Miguel Gomes, and he says, no, don't even try it. Don't.
It's a joke. It's a joke because that's the logical thing to do.
Yeah.
Really, that is really the logical thing to do. But when we're not in it for logic, we're in it for love.
Yeah.
So I think the don't give up, what she said, it may sound a bit corny, but I really believe that that is what you need to do, because you'll hear a lot of no's. But
and people pushing you down.
One day someone will say, yes, I liked what you did. And when that day comes, it will validate your work, and it will make you want to do other things. And I don't know, when I said that I was going to the theater, most of my friends and family said, oh, he's going to starve and he's going to die somewhere in the gutter. But the truth of the matter is that I'm not the only one, but from my group of friends, I'm one of the very few that works and lives off what he studied and what he likes to do. I mean, I don't have a great life financially, but at the same time, it's worth a lot of money to do what you like and to have the peace of mind and to be happy. To be happy, it's worth a lot of money.
Especially right now, I think, since so many people are suffering financially. If you're going to suffer financially, you might as well chill out your life.
But there is also another thing. If young filmmakers, I'm really young, but one thing that I've been proving myself and I've been learning is that you don't leave any details off. If you want to make a film, you're telling history, you're telling a story by pictures, by sounds. You cannot leave anything off, and you have to really see your script and make it happen, and just don't ignore any detail. And that's how we made everything. It's like, it's a process, a hard process of pre-production. And I always say that if you want to make a film, the pre-production part is like 90% of the job. And I think that
surround yourself with people that you trust, people that you enjoy working with, because it's very hard, and there are going to be hard times, and there are going to be difficult choices to be made. And if you don't trust the people you're working with, if you don't like them, it will all be much harder. But yes,
when you do find them, keep them close, very close.
Attention to detail is attention to detail is very important, and one thing that many people don't do is go look at other directors.
Yeah.
Go see other people's movies. Go see things that you don't like. This is one of the things I take from this experience here in the film festival, because I've seen a lot of things that I like, a lot of things that I don't like, and I can learn from every experience. If nothing else, what not to do or what I don't like, because when sometimes you struggle to find your identity, your vision. But then you see something that you don't like, and at least you know, I don't like that. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. And I'm not even saying that it's good or bad. You just don't like it. So that will be imprinted in you. And so go see a lot of things, because many times people just follow this director or that one. They don't get a broader view of what's going on. So because see a lot of
it happens in every industry or in anything. We learn from our past, and now we have a past in cinema that we can look and learn something from it and make better, you know. I'm not saying that it will be better Hitchcocks now, but yeah, probably there will be.
There'll be more genius.
Yeah, because the mistakes was made, and now we don't have to make the same mistakes, because we've seen some mistakes
and not even mistakes, even good stuff. You don't want to do the same good stuff. You want to do different good stuff. So you need to.
And now with the digital era, everything is changing very, very fast. Everyone is making movies, and I think that is great. But that's why I say pay attention to detail. It's not easy to make a movie. Yeah. It's not easy. It takes you don't have a life if you want to go to this career, which is good. I think it's good.
Yeah.
You have your whole life. You have many children, and not real ones. Yeah, but it's an amazing area. You do things that is amazing. The relationship you create with your staff and your actors is like one in a lifetime. Really, everything on set is so agitated, and people really show their true colors, I think, on set, because everything is happening so fast, and there is so much work. You work like for 12 hours a day, and after a week people are revealing themselves. So when the shooting is over, we know each other very well, and I think that
you work for 12 hours a day. No. I worked for more. Where were you in the other 6?
No, it's a true story. Laura doesn't like that we work more than 12 hours, but yes. It's the relationship we create are amazing. I don't say it isn't the same in any works, but in this one I think it's special.
That's great.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I love what I do, and
it's good.
Yeah,
good shows. So, thank you all very much.
Thank you so much.
It's an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Pleasure was all ours.
And I hope that people go see your film. And
it's at 7.
It's at 7 tonight?
No, it's in the 7th.
Oh, September 7th. Yeah, September 7th, Monday, right?
Yes.
And is it also going to go to any other festivals in the near future, or?
Let's see.
Yeah, it's still early.
We are hoping for some answers.
The film has 6 months. The film, until the time we finished, the film has, I think, 4 months. No, 3 months? You don't know.
No. O filme está feito há quanto tempo?
We ended it in July.
Okay.
July?
You just ended it in July.
So
Yes.
it's
One
pretty
month
recent.
ago.
It is. It's the beginning of
Yes.
your festival circuit,
Yeah.
right? You're gonna you have all the way.
We were at Tavanca Film Festival,
Yeah.
at Shortcuts Viseu, and now at Montreal.
That's awesome. Well,
Let's
hope
see.
you. I wish you luck.
Thank you very
see
much,
your next
Christine.
films when they come,
Oh yeah.
come back.
I hope I come
Yeah.
back, because this city is amazing, and I'm amazed with Canada
Well, that's great.
and Montreal specifically.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best part. Like you could forget the rest.
I can believe you. I've never been to the rest, but I believe you.
You can't get any better than this. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Now we alienated the rest of Canada. Don't worry. There's not many people in Canada anyway. So that was our interview with the makers of God Will Provide, which is playing next Monday, September 7th, at the Montreal World Film Festival.